Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank y'all so much for tuning into another video. I am Eli, the real estate guy, and this is your first steps. All right, now, today we're going to be discussing the most effective way to get leads in 2022. All right, now the types of leads that I'm talking about are wholesale leads or leads that you'll be able to find of homeowners that have properties that you can get for a discount. All right, now, may not be a secret to a lot of you all, but the most effective way to get a deal in 2022 is actually texting. Okay, now it has been like that for a couple years now, but I have a few reasons as to why you all should consider texting if you have not texted before. So number one, you get a much larger reach. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you're cold calling, and I'll just give you an example here. If you're cold calling for about 3 hours, okay, you can get about 600 calls in, right? And that's in a 3 hour span. So 3.5 hours, you're getting about 600 calls in if you're doing about $3 to $4, okay? And if, now, when I'm talking about dollars, I'm talking about automated dollars. So not calling by hand on Google Voice. I'm talking about having a computer system that's actually doing the dialing for you. So if you're dialing by hand, please look into these other systems because it'll make cold calling a lot more efficient. So that's number one. So you'll be able to get much larger reach. So you will get about 550 to 600 different numbers in a 3 hour span. All right, with batch leads, you'll be able to send out 1,000 text messages a day. So that's 1,000 different numbers or contacts in a day. So the great thing about batch leads, which is the program that I use to do my texting, is you'll be able to do them at a higher frequency and in one sitting, right? So you'll be able to go ahead and click, tap, 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 and it goes ahead and sends out those messages. So you reach out to 1,000 people, right? In a span that you're going to be sitting down and answering these text messages versus actually hammering it out and, you know, spending the 3 hours waiting for a dollar to go through and only reaching realistically about, 150 people. But the reason why it's divided up, the reason why I say 500 to 600 is because it calls each number per person. So whenever you're skip tracing, you get a person, an address, and it gives you 3 to 4 potential numbers. So it calls each one until somebody answers or you identify that as a lead, right? Versus the texting, as you're sending out a text, it's like boom, 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 boom. It's just going down. So you'll be able to get down to each person, and it starts off with the highest rating number that shows that it's most likely that person. If it's the wrong number, as you go through that list again, then it'll go to the next highest ranking, and you'll be able to text from there. So that was number one, much larger reach. Number two, less time to reach a much larger group of people. So like I was explaining, with batch, you can go ahead and send up to 1,000 a day, right? Now, imagine if you're working on a list, okay? The list is several thousand, people, depending on what type of list that you're pulling up. If you're cold calling, in theory, you're only going to be able to do about 150, 165 people a day if you're using a triple or quadruple dollar. It's going to take you forever to get through a list of like 10,000, right? But with batch leads, you can get through that list of 10,000 in about 10 days, right? So it allows you to just rip through lists a lot quicker, and that would, in return, increase the amount of leads that you're getting in a shorter period of time. Okay, so you got less time to reach a much larger amount of people. Next, something that you have to realize, sometimes people don't have time to answer a number that they don't know, right? And they don't have time to do these 15-minute conversations. Sometimes they're at work, but they can just answer real quick on a text, right? There's times where you may send a text on this day, but then they'll reply on another day. You may send a text in the morning and they'll reply later on. Whereas if you're cold calling somebody, they have to answer right then and there in order for this to work, right? Now, I personally do both. I do cold calling and I do texting, But I feel like it's important to always cold call, because there are people that don't respond to texts. They only do calls, right? And then you have people that won't answer a number that they don't recognize, but they answer a text if you're getting straight down to it, right? So with that being said, people at times are busy and they may not answer your calls, so they'll prefer to get a text to answer any questions that you might have. All right, and overall, texting is a great tool to add to your marketing tool belt, and it'll allow you to get in front of a lot more people and increase your lead flow. All right, now, Batch Leads has been a great program for me. You can skip trace with it. You can also create different filters in it, and it also updates information with those leads that's in the program. And another great thing about this program, and it saves you a ton of money whenever you are skip tracing, okay? If you've already skip traced a particular property, once you go in and say you pull another list and that list also has that particular name in there, right? It won't charge you for that skip trace again, right? So that in itself, depending on how much you're uploading, that would pay for the program in itself. Versus some other programs or some other softwares that you go to, every time you pull up a list of a couple thousand, right, they're gonna keep charging you, right? And that's how they make their money, right? But with Batch, yes, Batch, you know that you have your monthly subscriptions and everything, but when it comes down to it, you'll be able to save a lot of money by continuing to pull your list, but being able to not be charged for those additional skip tracing, and you'll be able to recycle lists by filtering out certain things. So you can do things like stack lists, basically. Okay, give me absentee owner, high equity in this city. You can give me pre-foreclosure that's absentee owner and is vacant, right? You can stack those lists together. And so something that would have been 15,000 now, because you layered them, now it's 1,200. And you can go ahead and get to those individuals that have a higher degree of possibility of motivation. All right. So with that being said, if you actually go into the description below, what you'll find is a link to Batch Leads. Okay. Now, Batch Leads, the link that I have here, what it does is it allows you to have a trial to where you can send out 500 text messages for $1. All right. Now, you're not going to find that type of deal anywhere else with other companies. I feel like it's a great way to get your feet wet with the program, get how it works. And the customer service is really great as well. So you'll be able to reach out to them whenever you have an issue or if you have a question. Okay. So again, go ahead and look at that description below, and you'll be able to find the portion that says Batch Leads, and you'll be able to start that trial. And depending on where you're watching this, if it's on YouTube, that's where it'll be in that description. But if you're looking at this on Instagram or some of these other programs, just go into the link in my bio, and there'll be a link that will show how to access Batch Leads. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to another video. If you like the information that I provided to you all, go ahead and click the like button to let me know that you're enjoying the information I'm providing to you. And also go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you're notified of whenever I'm posting another video. All right, with that being said, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I cannot wait for you to get your first deal. Y'all take care.